just like this guy. They got to think positive all the time. You have a negative thought creep in, you got to kick it out right away. I think it's important for us as coaches to do the same thing that we're telling our guys to do. Whatever that means, work hard, be positive. Focus on what you can control, what you can't. That's not a secret or anything, but that's the truth. One thing I didn't really, I want to talk about James English for a second. James English, I don't think people really understand kind of what he's gone through. And I know he took 7th, he didn't win the championship, but this is a guy who, he came back for a 6th year. I wasn't sure why, because he's always hurt. He comes back, he's wrestling well, gets hurt in the inter-squad match. Still wants to wrestle. We wrestle him in the first match. He gets hurt in the first match. Then we bring him back a month later after he's feeling better, and he gets hurt in the pit match. But this is a kid who shouldn't wrestle. He's going to have neck and back problems for the rest of his life. Probably didn't wrestle somebody live all year, outside of a coach. He kept, as the season went along, I'd kind of written him off. We had Andrew Alton, who we were trying to get him back from an injury, which, he needed more time and needed another surgery. And we had Zach Bites doing an awesome job. Every time James English would weigh in and warm up like he was wrestling. And every time he didn't wrestle, he was really upset. And then finally, when I think we were traveling to Minnesota or a month or 5 weeks ago, and he was ready. He felt like he was healthy again. I'm like, James, the Big Ten tournament, you're gonna have to win 5 matches. You're gonna be able to wrestle 5 matches in a row. Nationals, you got to wrestle 3 days in a row. He hadn't been able to wrestle more than a match or 2 in a row without being out for a month. But so I said, all right, go to this open tournament. Coach Flynn, thank him. He let him in the tournament. Said, go see if you can wrestle 4 matches in a row, and he was able to. And so we ended up giving him a wrestle off. But this is a kid who is just unbelievable. It's really is unbelievable. The kid looks like a 2x4. He's so stiff, he can't move, and he just gutted out some wins. So that's bigger than wrestling. Obviously, that's bigger than winning championships and all that good stuff. So that's a cool story. I think, but just want to but it's a team game. Obviously, we had other kids like James Volrath, who was there pushing these guys all along, and Zach Bites, who was ready. He was ready. He was ready to wrestle. But yeah, I could go on and on. And, James might write a book someday, but it's pretty special stuff. It was over and over again. I just felt like bringing him in, and I don't know how many times he was in the office and very upset, and and I just kept wrestling with the idea of saying, hey James, why are you paying to go to school again? He's an engineer. He graduated a long time ago. He just keeps finding new majors to pick up, paying tuition and room and board. So it's a pretty special story.
A couple more.
David, you are coached by an Olympic champion. You were on campus when Jake Varner trained and won the Olympic gold medal for the United States a few years ago. With you and Ed now finishing your college careers, do you guys see a future of maybe some more gold medals coming out of State College for the Olympic wrestling?
Absolutely. I can vividly remember telling my dad when I was 8 years old I wanted to be a 4-time state champ, 4-time national champ, and Olympic champion. Fell a little bit short of the second goal, but the Olympic champion is something that I'm looking forward to now. Obviously it's a very difficult task, and just 6 people can do it every 4 years. But I know I have the coaches that can get me there, and right now it's time to just change my focus. Wrestling in college is a little bit different than wrestling freestyle, and change my focus. And freestyle is the next phase of my life, and it's time to start looking forward to those goals and trying to fulfill that aspiration I've had for a really long time. Luckily I've got people around me that have won Olympic gold medals, and they know what it takes, and they've got me this far. Even really, it's hard to even explain what they've done for me, and I know that they can get me to the next step. and it's just how it is. You just keep trying to progress and keep trying to get better, and that's the next step to try and get better.
David, you talked about that support system. I looked over a couple times today, or throughout the tournament, you were sitting over with your mom and dad in the fan section. You just talk about, and you mentioned this a few times throughout your career about what they provided to your wrestling career, and on top of that, just what that fan section was like sitting in there as one of them during some of those matches. I mean, they're getting pretty hectic at times.
Absolutely. I think one of the things we talk about a lot at Penn State is being grateful. And when I was younger, I didn't probably really understand the sacrifices my parents were making when we were driving an hour and a half one way for practices 3 times a week to wrestle really one guy, Jason Chamberlain. When I used to live in Wyoming, and I was just playing Game Boy in the back of the car. I didn't know what was going on. I just looked at it and said, this is a pretty fun drive. But now looking back and what they did for me, everything I needed, everything that I thought I could do or achieve, my parents were always there, always at every tournament. My dad was always. We were always traveling different places, and I have a great relationship with my family. And to this day, it's just something that some people, their parents might. I don't know. I have a great relationship with, and I just like to go up and during the matches and during these tournaments. I love wrestling. I'm a wrestling fan. I like to watch. I like to watch Nico Magalutis. I like to watch Zane Rutherford. Jimmy Gulabon, James English. I like watching those guys wrestle because I know how much effort's put into every day to be here in this tournament. So in the past, I'm always a guy. I don't like sitting down in the locker room. I go up and try and kick someone out of their seat for a couple seconds, or sometimes it's my mom. But sit there and watch through 141, then I go down and get my shoes on, get ready for my match. When I'm ready, come back up, try and watch Ed Roos match through heavyweight if I can, and I just like doing that. And it's just, you talk about our fan base. I remember coming here 9 years ago. I was in 2006, I think, when I was here the last time. I sat in the Penn State section, a kid from my high school, David Irwin, was wrestling, and I was, man, these fans are pretty annoying. They were just chanting the whole time. And I'd never really been around that. And now I look back and how appreciative it is, and how much I appreciate how supportive they are. It doesn't matter where we are, whether we're on a road trip, and there's sometimes we're on road trips, and there's not that many people in the stands, but half of them are Penn State people, and they're always cheering for us and supporting us. And you always see people walking down the street that are, giving you a thumbs up or a high five, and that's just something very special that in the wrestling community you don't get outside of very many programs. And the fact that I ended up at Penn State was, kind of a crazy story, and it's turned out to be the best decision in my entire life, and just really just so thankful that I was able to be here at the right time and be with guys like Ed Ruth and Frank Bonero and Quentin Wright and be able to contribute to something that many people can say they've done and be part of 4 national championship teams. It's something you look back, you're 97 years old and say, it was pretty cool.
All right. Thank you. Congratulations, gentlemen.